Rolled while putting an item on the shelf, or activating your core and aligning your knees when bending to pick up items off the floor. Select the highlighted items on screen to learn more about some of the other safe body mechanics we can use at home and at work. Throughout our day, we use various methods of bending to lower our bodies to perform tasks like picking clothes up off the floor or putting away toys. There are a variety of ways we can bend and move, and different bending techniques have a time that they are most appropriate. When we practice using strong bending techniques, we can improve our balance, reduce strain placed on our backs and shoulders, and keep a strong, neutral spine. Let's learn about the 3 strong bending techniques: staggered stance, squat, and lunge. Select each of the bending techniques shown to learn more about them. A staggered stance is best used when you're bending in a mid-level range. It's also a great bending option for anyone that feels unstable with other bending techniques. When using a staggered stance, try to alternate the leg that you lead with to avoid one side getting worked harder than the other. To perform a strong staggered stance, start with your feet shoulder-width apart and take a step back. Bend at your knees and hinging at your hips while keeping your back upright. When we use a staggered stance, we can help avoid movement that cause us to bend at our waist. By switching to staggered stance, we can keep our back straight and keep our muscles functioning in a stronger position. A squat is a useful bending technique to alternate with a staggered stance or to use when the task is towards waist height. A strong squat position has both feet flat on the ground and shoulder-width apart. Bending at the knees, lower your body down while shifting your hips back and performing a hip hinge. To perform a hip hinge, pretend like you are going to sit in a chair and keep your weight in your heels. This will activate your glutes. Try to grip the floor with your toes, because this helps activate the muscles of your legs and will help you keep your balance. How low you squat is up to your level of comfort, but as general guidance, avoid squats that bend your knees past 90 degrees, or stop lowering once you no longer feel you can continue to maintain an ideal position. Performing a deep squat or bending past 90 degrees can lead to increased stress on your knees and should be avoided if possible. Remembering elements of 5-star stance can help keep a strong position during a squat. Squeezing your glutes during the motion can help kick on that strong muscle group and assist with hip hinge, while aligning your knees can help make sure your knees don't shift inward as you bend. When dealing with tasks close to or on the ground, a lunge can be an ideal movement to perform. Lunges allow you to, in some instances, move lower than a squat and can allow your legs to be in a resting position if the task you are performing will take a few seconds. This can be less fatiguing than performing a task at the same height but with a squat. A strong lunge position has us stepping our feet apart further than we would with a staggered stance and allowing the back heel to lift off the ground while the front foot stays flat. Bending at the knees, lower your body straight down towards the floor. To keep your front knee from moving forward past your toes, focus on lunging down, not forward, or widen your feet and base of support as needed. A lunge can be used even if you are not comfortable bringing your knee all the way to the ground, so only bend as far as you are capable. You may use various bending techniques naturally throughout your day. Try paying attention to what ones you use when, and if they are the best fit for the job at hand. You can alternate bending techniques to help utilize different muscles throughout your day. You can also alternate your forward leg for stagger stance and lunge to balance out muscles used and stay strong throughout your day. We use our hands and wrists daily to perform many tasks, like grabbing items out of a grocery bag to put away in our pantry. The items we handle can vary in size, shape, weight, and material. These can all impact how we choose to grip and handle them. Our wrists are capable of a variety of motions. It's easier for us to accomplish tasks with them, but the muscles that run through them are best used for stabilization and controlling fine finger movements. When we deal with tasks that involve weight or repeated motions, we can keep our hands and wrists functioning strong by holding them in a neutral wrist. A neutral wrist is when a line can be drawn through the forearm, wrist, and hand to create a straight line. This is the position where our muscles are the strongest and most stable. When we leave this position, like when flexing or extending the wrist, we impact our ability to use these muscles effectively. Try holding your hand out in a neutral wrist position. While keeping your wrist still, lightly squeeze your hand into a fist, then relax. Now, allow your hand to flex forward. Try making a fist again and lightly squeeze. Did it feel easier or more comfortable to make a fist the first time? It should, because our muscles were in a strong, neutral position for the action. We can lose our neutral wrist when performing tasks like reaching into a high shelf or typing at a keyboard that is not an ideal height. While you can focus on trying to keep a strong wrist position, you can also make adjustments to how you are performing the task to improve your position. Keeping a neutral wrist is important, but we should also consider how we grip and handle items. The grip technique we use can vary based on many factors. The 3 styles of grip technique we'll go over are closed grip, two-handed grip, and tilt, push, slide. Click on each gripping type to learn more about it. A closed grip is when we are able to secure the item using maximum surface area contact of the hand. The level of contact with the hand decreases the risk of the item slipping from our grasp and helps us use all of our muscles effectively. When an item cannot fit securely in one hand, or when doing so would cause overextending of the hand, it's time to switch to a two-handed grip. This will reduce the amount of strain placed on the hand and reduce the likelihood of the item slipping. For larger items, altering the hand placement used in a two-handed grip can help make lifting easier. By placing one hand on the far upper side of the item and one on the near lower side, you can help keep the item close to your body and in your power zone. Sometimes there will be items that are too large or heavy to handle using a two-handed grip. In this instance, you will want to still use two hands and perform what is called tilt, push, slide, or TPS. Tilt, push, slide allows you to maintain control of larger items while using a slide to move the item to a new location. When performing tilt, push, slide, start by positioning yourself directly in front of the item. Begin to tilt or tip the item toward you until one side of the item is stable and ready to slide. Place both hands towards the top of the item and using a full contact grip, begin to push the item to its destination. Once at the destination, slide the item into place, making sure it's secure. When using tilt, push, slide, always remember the maximum push weight for one person is 85 pounds, and items should only be pushed or slid when moving less than 10 feet. Other factors can influence which grip technique is ideal for a situation. Always test the weight of an item before lifting, and wear any recommended personal protective equipment that may provide a better grip to items with slick outer casings. Heavier items may require a two-handed grip or even a team lift to move safely. Take a look at these common items that you may find around your house. Drag each item into the area that matches the gripping technique that would be best to use while handling the item. Correct. Our hands and wrists help us perform work, participate in hobbies, and even communicate with others. Practicing neutral wrist and safe grip techniques is one way we can keep them strong and feeling their best throughout the day. When dealing with items, especially those that are bulky like dog food, how we lift and hold that item can play a big role in how easy it is for our body to maneuver it. Lifting is something we do each and every day, whether it is lifting a pet, a laundry basket, or a box at work. Every time you lift an item, you want to prepare for the activity so you can lift safely. Before learning about how to complete a strong lift, we must first learn about our power zone. Your power zone is the area around your body that is most optimal for holding items or performing tasks. It consists of the space directly in front of you, from your waist to your shoulders. When we hold items in this zone, we make it easier for our bodies to pick up the items and handle them. When we reach for items before they are in our power zone, we can double the force needed to lift them and make our muscles work harder. This can become fatiguing and decreases our balance by offsetting our center of gravity. We can correct this by squaring up to our work so we are facing it straight on, and by moving closer to our work to bring items into our power zone from the beginning. As we perform motions, our power zone stays in the same spot on our bodies, but moves in space as we do. Where do you think this individual's power zone is? Correct. Because this person performed a lunge to pick up the item, they moved their power zone with them. This allowed them to bring their power zone to the Correct. Because this person performed a lunge to pick up the item, they moved their power zone with them. This allowed them to bring their power zone to the item, even though it is located near the ground. This makes it easier for them to pick up the item and continue on. While bending techniques can bring our power zone closer to the floor, using ladders or step stools can elevate it when reaching for higher items. This helps us avoid actions that cause us to arch our back or put our shoulders in a weak position. Now that we understand our power zone, let's dive a little deeper into what steps make up a strong lift. There are 4 steps to a strong lift: plan, lift, carry, and set down. Step 1. Plan. For a lift, it's important to plan before you pick up the item. A plan helps you visualize the lift before moving the item safely to its new location. This includes checking that your area is clean and clear to help you avoid potential hazards and testing the weight of the object you need to move. Okay, now that you have a solid plan, let's move on to step 2, the lift. To complete a strong lift, you start by standing close to the item. Make sure your feet, knees, hips, and shoulders are all aligned in a strong stance. Next, hinge at the hips and bend at the knees while keeping your shoulders pulled back. Keeping your back straight allows you to lift with the larger muscle groups of your legs while engaging your core to protect your back. Once you have a hold of the item, bring it into your power zone. Let's move on to step 3, the carry. To do this, keep the item close to your body and keep your elbows close to your sides. You should make sure to engage your core. Your core is the band of muscles around your middle and includes the muscles of your abdominals, back, hips, and glutes. While carrying, keep your core engaged, your back upright, and your chin up so you can look at your planned path. Last, we have step 4, setting the item down. This is when you perform the lifting step, but in reverse order. Keep the item close to your body. If you're setting down below the waist, make sure you're hinging at the hips while bending at the knees. And don't forget to engage your core to keep your back straight. Before you let go, be sure the item is secure to prevent it from falling. By following the 4 steps to a strong lift and keeping items in our power zone, we can reduce the stress that tasks place on our body. By working smarter, not harder, we can feel less fatigued and use that saved energy to focus on the things we enjoy. What techniques do you think we can use to help us complete a strong lift and stay in our power zone? Select all that apply. Not quite. Not quite. These techniques help us complete a strong lift and stay in our power zone. Excellent! That concludes your Working Well onboarding class. We hope moving forward you can apply these lessons both at work and at home. Follow the closing prompts on the screen to end the training. Keep up the great work and continue working well.